Subscription Manager. This is a separate repo that we'll set up. We're not going to use Subscription Manager here in the classroom. I'll just call it rel.repo, but you can name it whatever you want to name it as long as it ends with .repo as a file extension. It's going to get included in and it's going to work. Okay? The repository definition is quite simple. It's a Windows INI file format basically. So not anything complex. You're going to have a tag here at the top. The tag is already given to us in the exercise, so we'll call it rel. But you always want to keep it short, because that way you can reference a repository with just a couple of letters, and you can enable them, disable them on the command line. So the longer name would be the name equals directive here. This is where you can go on and on about describing this repository, right? So you could say something like rel OS packages or whatever, right? The exercise doesn't tell us what to call it, so use your imagination, right? And then the all-important directive will be the base URL. This is where you spell out the actual URL. Okay? My recommendation to save time and also to help with your typing, you can copy paste these URLs in, right? Now I didn't have the exercises up on the screen here, so.
Whoa.
Okay, you can basically copy paste the URL right from here, right? If you insist on typing, that's fine. Just make sure whatever you typed is correct. Okay? And the second repo, we can just continue on here and throw it right in here. If you wanted to split it out into a separate repo file, you could, right? A lot of people prefer splitting out each repo into a separate file, but you don't have to, right? I mean, these are quite related. So this will be the updates repo here. The name, I'll just call it rel updates. And the base URL, again, is the URL straight from the exercise. So you can just always copy the link from here and paste it right in. Or type it out accurately. Yes, Jim?
If everybody doesn't know, you can also do Control-Shift-V to paste it into the...
That's right, yes.
It's easy.
Yeah,
Yes.
Control-Shift-V would work.
I concur.
Now,
Specify the name, would it still work?
if you don't specify the name is actually a requirement.
Okay.
So you actually need to give it a long description. Okay? At a minimum, this is it, right? There are some other common objectives or, directives. There's the enabled equals 1, right, to make it active, but it's already on, so it's not. That's the default. And the other one is the GPG check, which you can, again, turn on or off. It's on by default, so both of these are on in yum.conf. If you wanted to turn off these features, either the repository or the GPG checking, then you could turn them off here. I'm just going to add these as comments here because they are really not necessary. But be aware of these. This is something that is very, very commonly seen in repo definition files. Okay? Let me go ahead and save this file. I also want to show you that there's a man page for yum.conf which has these lines. So it's the repository section. We have quite a bit to scroll here. There it is. So the man page for yum.conf actually has these lines very nicely shown in an example. So No need for memorization if you can remember to look at the manual for yum.com. And you can find it right here.
That's great.
Okay, how do I validate that this actually works? The best thing to do is just run yum repo lists. This command just gives you an overview of your configured repositories. And the important piece is to look at the package count on the right side. As long as you have numbers here, you know that Yum was able to download the metadata from the repository section, and it will give you the package count. If you see zeros here, it means that there was something wrong with the URL, there a typo or something. Is that a question there, Joy? Mhm. Mhm. In that case, try to ping Classroom at this point.
I want to know.
Yeah, just Classroom, all by itself. Okay, let's run IP adder there just to see if you have. Somehow that address bounce the connection because there seems to be something wrong there. So MCLI calm down. E0. Yes, and then. Oh, that's not an active connection. So let's do MCLI on show. Oh, so it looks like you have another connection going. Delete that one, that VM54. So NMC.